Hi, Manish. A very warm welcome.
Thank you so much. Hello, everybody. I hope you guys are doing good.
I'll check the energy levels again. Good afternoon. Oh, nice.
Well, I think
As
soon it's going to be lunchtime, so we better hurry this up till all of us get very hungry.
so, I tell you, Manish, their energy levels are increasing as the day is descending.
That's how it should be, yeah.
Yeah. So, Manish, I want to understand from you. You started as a Bollywood designer and ventured into building a global luxury label of yours. So, what does it take for an Indian designer brand to evolve into a scalable luxury business?
Well, at a time when I started costumes, at that time, I used to model. I modeled for about 5 years, and I wanted to get into costume designing. And in 1990, that's what I'm talking, that year, there wasn't even a course on designing for men in Mumbai. NIFT had just started in Delhi. So at that time, the ambition was to get into movies, do something different because I loved movies and I loved designing. So at that time, I just thought that I'm going to just style films and costume movies, and acceptance in the film industry was key for me. It took a lot of time because it was very disorganized, passionate though disorganized. And a costume designer who sketches and is talking about an entire look is something which was not there. So they were a bit taken aback that, what are you talking about? What's the hair? What's the makeup? What's the entire look? So that acceptance took time. Rangila happened in 1995, followed by films like Raja Hindustani, Dilwale Duniya Le Jayenge, and multiple films. So for me at that time, it was all about doing costumes. And my friends used to tease me that you'll just become older and older and you'll be doing costumes for younger generations, which is true now that I'm getting older and older and I'm working for the third generation. So at that time, I didn't really think of a brand or a label, but I very religiously, very sincerely tried with every commercial film, because the brief at that time for every actor was make her glamorous. But what's her role? Kahan se aa rahi hai? Wo kya karti hai? There was nothing, So getting that kind of a brief, I still worked on it to give the actors and actresses mostly looks. And that's when the name got famous. And as a professional, I was very happy. I used to work from my home. I used to work 18 to 20 hours. And then, of course, our travel started, which was doing a chiffon sari song in Switzerland. And I was in and out of Switzerland every week. And that's, as a professional, I went on, not thinking that I'm going to do retail. But it was a film called Dil To Pagal Hai, where Madhuri Dixit's outfits became so famous, especially the chiffon kurtas, and they started getting copied in all local markets. And I kept hearing that people are doing lots of business on those outfits. And that's the first time it pinched me that, oh, should I also get into mainstream fashion? That was my first realization. And of course, it was the business angle, which I'd never thought of till then. And that's how I got into mainstream a bit later. In 2005, I launched my brand. So it's 20 years to the brand. And when I launched the label, it was all about, I'll continue to costume design, but the label will be at the side. Let's see how Indian labels grow and all of that, starting with tunics and saris and all of that. But I think that was a changing time. Like 90s was a changing time for Indian cinema. And I think latter half of the 2000s was a very big changing time for Indian fashion. Opening a big store 13 years ago, Delhi, changed the entire perspective of us looking into business, because Delhi was a large market, and acceptance of mine in Delhi was strong. And that's when we decided, no, I need to cut down the costumes and get a lot more into business. And I'm sitting on a platform here today, and I don't really want to speak big, and I just want to be really honest. And the honest fact is that I made a lot of mistakes, learned the hard way, learned that the collections should be more specific. There has to be a strong brand identity. And because I think when I started, in my first fashion show, where Deepika was a model, Urmila was the showstopper. Showstopper is again something that I started in Indian fashion. I was doing everything in a show. from a swimsuit to a sari to a dress. So what I realized was for every brand or every designer to get into becoming a brand, it's very important to have an identity. I came with a strong identity of Indian cinema and glamour, but it was again about Indian clothes that I got into. Wedding clothes is what I got into. Having done all those movies again, Kal Ho Na Ho, all those Kuch Kuch, all the Sangeet songs. And that's how it happened. We got an identity which was modern India. And I think the first crux for any designer to become a brand is, of course, creativity. Second would be a brand identity, where you kind of know the brand for something. In my case, it was glamour, sequin, shimmer, shine, celebration. And then you get more and more specific. You introduce different verticals, and that's how you get into becoming a larger brand.
I love the way passionately you are speaking about fashion, designing costumes, retail. As this room is full of retailers, I want to understand, what do you enjoy the most, designing costumes or the retail part?
Well, I enjoy design. In an earlier phase, I think it's also very phase-oriented. Everything in life has got to do with your mindset, your age, the phase that you are in, mentally, personally. Like I said, when I modeled. And I worked in a boutique, and I used to feel really cool about the fact that I was modeling, and I was working in boutiques which had just come up in Mumbai. To a phase where I started, costumes. And to when I started my stores, it was about increasing your stores, right? So I think retail is a challenge, because I come from a very design, creative, very quick turnaround because of costume. Actually, that's one thing that really helped me in all my years of costume. If there's a change in your brief this afternoon and you want a dress tonight, you have to make it. It's a shooting. It's hundreds of people. The shooting can't get canceled because of one outfit. And that's something that is in my entire ecosystem, that we have to deliver on time.
It seems like entering a war zone.
Yeah, literally it is, especially with time. And I think that is something that helped me with balancing between costumes and a growing retail stores. But what do I enjoy more today? I think the challenge of expansion and the newness of fashion, which is changing. I think the customer's changing, the mindsets are changing, and AI is there today. So there's a lot of change. And I think if you're in the business of fashion or anything which has got to do with glamour, change is inevitable, and you have to accept it and like it.
So as you're talking about change, Manish, I want to understand, in India we have luxury brands, we have coutures, we have small boutiques, we have new malls coming up. We have Amit sitting over here who was talking about new age mixed-use development. So a lot is happening in the retail space. I want to understand from you, can couture with e-commerce exist? Can they coexist together? If yes, what are the possibilities? If no, what are the hurdles?
Couture as an expansion is not what say luxury preth would be, or what preth would be. That's a scaling business, while as couture is a more specific business. But I guess in my case, because I started from couture, it's a must. That's the identity of the brand. But are we not getting into luxury preth? Are we not thinking of multiple stores? No, we are. Because that's your scaling business module. Because you can't scale on couture. And I also feel that the buyer is changing. The buyer today is becoming more experience-oriented. They just don't want an outfit. They want to know, where did this whole thought process start with? What are you making? When I enter your store, what's the experience that I get? So I think it's all becoming very experiential, retail as well, and we've all got to work with that. Look, years ago, when I did a fashion show or made a collection, I just made a collection, took my design team, went and did a fashion show. Today, I have a complete parallel team which looks into marketing, experience, styling, customers, dressing up your influencers to film stars. It's a whole different parallel world which works together. Today, when you make a collection, you're also going to spend a lot of your time thinking how are you going to present it on Instagram, on social media. That takes half of your day.
So touching upon the consumers, Manish, I want to understand from you, who are these consumers actually? Are they HNIs? Are they Gen Zs? Are they wedding buyers? Or are they global Indians? How do you see them?
Well, the best are the new HNIs. The new HNIs are for all our businesses in this room. They're the best because it's new money. They are wanting to experience. They are wanting to create that identity for themselves. And I think as brands, we are there to welcome them and take them through that experience and give them that identity. Of course, your Gen Z, your newer, younger generation, which is wanting to maybe not spend that much, but still experience. And they're coming with a new mindset even when they're buying. For example, they might want to buy an X top with an X skirt, with a Y skirt. They might want to put it together. So I think a mix of all, and you always have your classic buyer. For me, as an individual, as a designer, it is definitely a wedding market because that's what we are known for. And I think in India, couture or high purchases happen when there's a wedding. And that's the truth, I mean, if you see it across, whether it's food, it's decor, it's clothes, it's jewelry, wedding is a big, segment of expenditure for any HNI.
So, which means the demand is there in India. I mean, there are lots of designers also here in India, but we haven't heard any, I mean, there are very few global luxury conglomerates. What do you think? What is the reason behind it?
Well, I think honestly that's changing. You see so many Indian designers presenting in international fashion weeks. You see international celebrities wearing Indian designers. For example, we dressed Jennifer Lopez recently. I've dressed Ivanka Trump. I've dressed so many different Beyonce for her tour. Like Beyonce's tour, which was a very celebrated tour last year, had all international designers. And for her main show, which was in New York, I was the designer. And Bridgerton was a theme for Jennifer Lopez's 55th birthday. The birthday celebration was in Hampton, near New York, and the designer is Indian. I mean, that's what today in the world of fashion is happening. Because Bridgerton is a British theme, and there's an American star wearing it, and the designer is Indian. So I think that just speaks about how the world of creative design, creativity, design, all of it is coming together. I think India is in a great position today. We are looking at Indian textile, the great Indian craftspeople that we have, the work of Indian designers is beginning to get celebrated on a world platform.
My last question to you, according to you, what will define India's fashion identity globally over the next decade?
I think for every designer who's becoming a brand, who's getting to be world known, one of the most important aspects would be to take your Indian textile, in the work of your weavers, the work of your artisans who are good, skilled tailors, skilled masters, fantastic embroiderers, taking their work on a global platform, because that is what will stand out for you. India as a theme on a global platform. And there can be nothing better for us Indian designers or Indian retailers. You have to take India to the world.
Definitely, India is going to shine all across the world.
Already shining.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Manish, for joining us today.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Manish, as we leave the stage, I want to understand from you one celebrity that you have loved designing costumes for, and one costume of yours which you fondly remember or love doing it.
Oh, that's like asking which child you like more. But I would say that, for me, it was always about the look of a film. Starting from Rangila right up to Rocky Rani Ki Prem Kahani. I think it's the looks that I worked with, whether it was Priyanka Chopra's Desi Girl Sari, or Deepika's in Ye Jawani Hai Diwani, or Kareena's in Bole Churiya, to Jab We Met, which are two very different films. To so many movies that I've done. Karishma's in Raja Hindustani and Dil To Pagal Hai. So various films are what For me, a very emotional bond is with actor Sri Devi, because when I came into movies, she was a youth superstar, and she started to work with me. I learned a lot with her. So that's an actor I miss, and that's an actor I enjoyed the most working.
Thank you so much, Manish.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here. Thank you so much.